Did you know there are some words in Spanish you might be using or hearing that are actually offensive to Mexicans? In this video, you will learn 8 Spanish words that you should never use when talking to a Mexican. I'm Mariana from Spring Spanish, a proud Mexican, and here's the first offensive word. Paja, pajilla, pajita. In other Spanish-speaking countries, you'll often hear people saying, ¿Me das una paja? Pajita, pajilla. But in Mexico, these 3 words, paja, pajilla, pajita, refer to the verb to masturbate. So, si estás en un restaurante en Mexico, you want to ask for un popote, never una paja o pajita, like this. Disculpe, ¿puede traerme un popote, por favor? Coger. En otros países de habla hispana, like Spain, it is perfectly normal to say coger as an equivalent of to grab or to take, like cojo el autobús, or cogí las llaves antes de salir. But this is definitely a word you want to avoid in Mexico because in Mexico it means to have sex. I actually have a little anecdote regarding this word. Decades ago, una tía mía went to Spain with a friend. They were at a restaurant and a Spanish guy se acercó a su mesa and asked, ¿Puedo coger esta silla? My aunt and her friend started laughing and responded, Claro, si puedes. Well, you get the idea. So, cuando estés en Mexico, say tomar instead of coger, like this. ¿Puedo tomar esta silla? Voy a tomar el autobús. Si no quieres que este tipo de cosas te tome por sorpresa, subscribe to our channel and enjoy 5 weekly Spanish lessons for free. Don't forget to hit the bell to get a notification every time a new lesson is up. Before moving on to the next word, I want to give you another tip. Instead of saying, te recojo a las 8, which is grammatically correct, say, paso por ti a las 8. The reason is that recoger has the verb coger in it. And when you add the prefix re, it means you're doing something twice. So, te recojo a las 8 could be understood as I'll have sex with you twice at 8. Panocha. This one is also problematic even for Spanish speakers from other countries like Spain again. In Spain, panocha means corn cob, and it's also used to refer to people from Murcia. So you'll hear people say, se me antoja una panocha. But in most of Mexico, panocha is used to refer to female genitalia in a vulgar way. So if you are craving for corn cob in Mexico, say, se me antoja una mazorca, or even better, se me antoja un elote o esquite. Pito. Otra palabra problemática. In other countries like Costa Rica, pito is used to refer to a hunk. So usually, when people are stuck in traffic, they'll say, tócale el pito para que se mueva. If you say that in Mexico, you will certainly make the other person move, but not for the reasons you intended, because pito is used to refer to male genitalia. And if you combine it with the verb tocar, which also means to touch, tócale el pito para que se mueva has a very different meaning. So if it's the hunk you are referring to, make sure you use the following chunk. Pítale para que se mueva. Chunk alert. Pítale is a perfect example of a chunk. If you ever come to Mexico, you'll notice Mexicans use it very often. It means honk at them, and it comes from the verb pitar. Now, since it will always be the same, you don't really need to learn the rules about how to form it. You can just learn it by heart and start using it right away. For more chunks like this, why don't you download our free Essential Spanish Chunking Kit? It contains a collection of the most important Spanish chunks you'll hear and use yourself in any conversation. I left the link in the description. Taco Bell. La comida mexicana es famosa en todo el mundo, and it is so delicious that many people do whatever they can to try to imitate it, but not all imitations are good. So, when in Mexico, by all means, avoid saying something along the lines of, mis tacos favoritos son los de Taco Bell. This is essentially how you sign tu sentencia de muerte en Mexico. You don't need to tell a Mexican you hate them, just say that your favorite Mexican food is not Mexican food at all. To avoid embarrassment, just try real Mexican food. No te arrepentirás. Mala copa. Now, Mexicans are very good at partying. So if you tell a Mexican that they are mala copa, it's very likely they will feel offended because you're essentially telling them que no saben tomar. We say eres mala copa if a person loses total control over themselves when they are drinking or drunk. So this, yo soy queen in the north. Queen in the north porque soy de Durango, que está en el norte. So I am queen in the north, people, okay? No Sansa. Sansa es una pendeja. Yo soy queen in the north. ¡Woo! Ya no tiene nada. ¡Mesero! ¡Ya no tiene! ¡Mesero! This is mala copa. Although you would be saying the truth if you call someone mala copa, chances are they won't take it the right way. Mainly because they won't remember anything. Indio. This is a very sensitive word and topic in Mexico. Mucha gente en Mexico will tell you there's no racism here, but there is. A lot. So much so that the word indio, which means indigenous, is used as an insult, and it's a word Mexicans would rather stay away from. I'll elaborate. The correct way to refer to someone from India in Spanish is indio, but Mexicans have a hard time saying this because this word is usually used as an insult. Therefore, they prefer saying es hindú, which is incorrect because it's not referring to a country but a religion. Son gente de la India. Vienen de la India. Why do Mexicans do this? Well, because the word indio has a negative connotation in Mexico. Some indigenous peoples are trying to change this, but that's a different story. Americano. Another touchy subject. I know it's very tempting to say either of these sentences to indicate that you come from the US. Soy americana o americano. Vengo de América. But many Mexicans, myself included, and probably other Latin Americans, will feel offended because America is an entire continent, not a country. So, say this instead. Soy estadounidense. Vengo de Estados Unidos. And this applies to anything or anyone coming from that country. Recap. Veamos si recuerdas lo que te enseñé hoy. I'm going to tell you a word that is offensive in Mexico alongside its intended meaning. You have to guess why is it offensive and what would Mexicans say instead. Ready? Tócale el pito. If you want to say to hunk. Mexicans would say pítale because pito refers to male genitalia. Paja, if you want to refer to a straw. Mexicans would say popote because paja, pajita, and pajilla mean to masturbate. Coger, if you want to mean to take or to grab. Mexicans would say tomar because coger means to have sex. Americano, if you want to refer to someone from the US. Mexicans would say estadounidense because America is a continent, not a country. ¿Cómo te fue? Let me know in the comments. Now, since nobody likes to be insulted or offended, why not compliment someone for a change? You will get much better reactions from Mexicans for a nice compliment, be it at a restaurant or on a date. I have some great Spanish compliments you can use to charm Spanish native speakers right away. Just follow me to the next video by clicking on the image on screen, and I will see you there. Adios!